Hey guys, it's Faithful Gaming. I hope you're well. Guys, got another Total War Warhammer 2 matchup. This is a replay of a fight I had against a Dawi player. I've gone Crooked Moon. It's my usual Crooked Moon setup with the two trolls, the two squigs, the four fanatics, two of which are the 8-piece loonies and the warlords boys, a giant, the hammer of gore. My squigs and my trolls are here. Two big bosses on wolves. My Goblin war boss is on a squig for the extra armor, the armor piercing, the anti-infantry. The two mobile wolves, as per, with the chariot, sorry. Another set of wolves out on the very far left flank here. Just two of my goblins in the bush. And then yeah, my two squig riders, one of which is the Dirkits. Dirkit squig's the unique unit. This chap, I think it's the second time I played him. Give him a rematch because I played the first match on the Ultra Darkness, and anyone that knows that map, it's no good for dwarves. You're just either side of a big hill, and the artillery's kind of no use to anyone. So he's gone for kind of a half Dawi box. As you can see here, he's got the 4 miners, 5 miners. I think one has got blasting charges. That one there. And then the front line of just dwarves. I think one of these is actually iron breakers. Think. And then he's gone for the 4 bolt throwers with a runesmith and there is ironbreakers in the bush there. Yeah, a runesmith and Grombrindle, the great white dwarf. What he has taken as well is these 3 gyrocopters. Now, these are such a huge pain for me because I don't carry any ranged foot kind of any goblin archers or anything like that. I just carry these 2 very mobile groups of archers, but with 3 sets of gyros. I think one of them's got a brimstone. No, I tell a lie. Just 3 sets of gyros are going to be a real pain for me. As you can see, he's out of range slightly with those bolt throwers, but my one hammer of Gork is not going to stand against those, so I've obviously got to make the assault to him. So we'll kick it off here. He's obviously moving these guys forward to attempt to get some shots off into my squigs, I think, which I see and decide that, yeah, the squigs are better off. Pull him back for now. Start to flank around. The wolves start moving up here. These go straight for his gyros. The thing with gyros, I think they need to get into a certain range to hit these guys, which will trigger the skirmish mode. So if they try and attack them, they constantly end up chasing them around the battlefield, which is a bit of a pain. They don't really get good shots off against them, and they don't trade particularly well. Yeah, seeing that, obviously I'm going to have to take the fight to him. I start to move up with all my dwarves, Jesus, they'd be very angry if they, called them dwarves. All my little night goblins, a little cinematic with the cliffs and the stuff in the background making their way up there. We're already trading. The hammer of Gork is already standing off pretty well against these dwarf warriors in the corner here. I think my original thought was to try and punch one of these lot down to go straight through trying to punch straight through into these bolt throwers, which he's pushed them way too close to his lines now. I know that they should be on guard mode, so they can't constantly chase after the things you've set them to fire on. So, yeah, not going to be very useful from that position, and they're also going to get caught up and maybe caught up in melee quite easily there. What I did notice later on was, yeah, he's got this nice little square going here, defensive square. That's wonderful. There's a bloody big gap here behind these trees that, yeah, the squigs are just going to roll through. I was wondering whether he had more tucked up in here that was maybe going to cause me a problem, but yeah, because I obviously can't see any of this at the time of this video. Almost together now, we're ready to join the lines. You can see these dwarf warriors have had a good absolute hammering. I wanted to, rather than send too much into these guys here, which were going to cause me a problem, where he hasn't mixed anything up, I wanted to try and force these into a move and kind of hit his miners quite heavily and try and punch it through there, but as you can see, it didn't really matter because there's a giant hole in the back here that my squigs are just trying to abuse. He spots them, but those iron breakers are never ever going to catch them. As you can see, we literally caught the bolt throwers in here through kind of a bit of miss micro. Trolls, squigs, fanatics, everything just will make real short work of these miners. They don't really stand a heck of a chance. As you can see, we've joined in here as well, just the squigs, goblin warboss there, trolls. Out go the loonies, and you can see they really do some not crazy damage, but do you know what I mean? From one set of loonies going through them, that's quite a lot of damage to take. just summarise the battle up a bit here. I don't know what happened here. He manages to send off my trolls. He sends them packing. I'm wondering whether something to do with Grombrindle coming in and giving him a bit of a fist in. I'm not sure. But you'll see, literally, this line is in pure. Well, it's a disaster really. The squigs up into the bolt throwers, and they literally will make real short work of those guys. This line is going to crumble really quickly. I think he mismicros these guys here, and maybe just caught up in the moment, forgets that they're there and to use them, because they don't really get involved in the game for a little while. But we'll go back to full speed. I said the plan was once this line has fallen here, would be to just fall straight in on the back of this line. These guys are now coming to get into the fight. They're a real tricky unit for Goblins later on in the game. They've got crazy morale. The blasting charges, and yeah, they really hold their own. Game-changing unit right there. I haven't really got any formation or anything either, so to throw straight into these guys would be a bit of an error here. But so we start trying to push this flank here. One thing you will notice, and I'll pause because I think this is about the point that I realised. The poor little giant is just sat back here, very lonely, wondering why he's not allowed to head up into the fight to smash things, and yeah, longing to make some Dawi slush. So yeah, I remember him eventually, and he does start making his way up. Trying to get my squigs around. I obviously realised I didn't want to throw my squigs straight into the back of these guys because they are, like I said, they're really tough. Those blasted charges, oof, they make a mess of Goblins. The plan was to get these guys around here and to just collapse this line here, which I think we do a pretty good job of. We try and hit a lot of the fronts at the same time. If I'm correct, I think you see the morale and these guys start to take some serious damage. Obviously surrounded on both fronts. Squid Riders in the back. Yeah, this is where he starts trying to move up these guys. I think if he'd been a bit quicker and got them straight in the back and tried to like caught my wolves and my squigs in there, this is quite nice actually. We slow it down. We send out all the loonies. There's one set of them there, and they do some good damage. You'll see there's about 3 or 4 sets of them that all start to make their way out, and they will do some good damage on those guys. Every little bit of damage you can do to these Ironbreakers is really essential. As you can see, these gyros, 31 kills on that one, 98 kills on that one, 48 kills on that one. I'm having a real problem shutting them down. He gets some real nice damage with the bombs they drop throughout this game. Really made me question that. It's the first time I've ever really thought long and hard about why I didn't bring any archers. Probably the first game that's made me do that, and yeah, they're a bit of a pain. So we've fallen on these Ironbreakers, but as they'll put up a real good fight. There's all sorts going on in there. Trolls, squigs, night goblins, more wolves, just trying to literally hit them from all angles and take their morale, but they've got so much morale. Now my giant is starting to make his way forward after quite a long game. Sat out waiting in the back for the signal. Poor bugger. Again, see, the real shame he has forgotten these units here. I feel like if he could have brought them across maybe just before this all descended on these Ironbreakers, he would have had a really good line to present against the Goblins. As you can see, we're starting to have a bit of a tough time. Those gyros are really starting to rack up some good kills, causing some real damage. You've got a set of trolls that is definitely not going to come back over there. They've lost a lot of HP. If you notice, they've all still got quite a lot of health, quite a lot of decent amount of ammo left to go as well. Like these guys, a lot, and every shot they fire is a dead night goblin or squig or of some description. We're in now, and it's a shame. I think he's now remembered these miners and brought them started to move them up. Which I think if he'd that's not nice. If he'd thought about that a little bit earlier on, maybe could have got this a little bit closer. I doubt he hasn't got the morale. I think it's a point now where Is he dead already? Grombrindle succumbs to a mixture of Big Boss and Giant. This is the Runesmith. Oh, he's just get it. Just missed him. He's just died to the Giant. Runesmith has gone as well. The Ironbreakers got 162 kills, and they didn't have it easy at all. They were surrounded on every front. Trolls, squigs, everything. And I think that just triggers the mass route there, and it is, yeah. Real shame that if you look, he had so many of these units. Two of these are kind of almost full. They're only miners. I appreciate they will get shredded, but when you've just got the extra numbers to support those Ironbreakers, I feel like this could have been a much closer fight. Granted, he still had the Giant to contend with and some other units, but yeah, certainly would have made a difference to get those guys in. Just check the final stats. I'm interested to see what those we're interested to show you at least what those gyros got. So yeah, 145 kills, 78 and 19. They've definitely paid. They've paid for them for themselves without a doubt. The Ironbreakers there, Norgrim's Ironbreakers getting some real good kills as well. Those blasting charges, you've really got to watch out for those if you're a Goblin player. They if you lay your lines properly as a dwarf with kind of the warriors, miners with blasting charges at the back, or the kind of Ironbreakers with the blasting charges, let them hit your front lines of dwarves and get those blasting charges to get some good kills when they're thrown in. Honestly, it can just ruin your entire Goblin front line. A couple of things, obviously, if he'd closed that gap up, I think he'd have had a much better game. It's difficult to protect against getting flanked by the Goblins, but I'd still advise at least trying to do it. They've got the mobility to get behind you, and they will get into some sort of squishy units at the back, but at least try and make it a bit harder for someone to get in. The bolt thrower pick was a strange one. I know they're cheap, and it's better to bring something, and he did obviously have me outgunned artillery wise, but maybe drop two and get an organ gun or the flame cannon or something. It could be put to really good use against goblins, kind of squishy units, or a cannon maybe for a little bit more range, so he wouldn't have been so kind of pinned. And also the little bit of mismicro that was done with the pulling them too close to the lines. If they'd have kind of been on guard mode, they probably would have got some better shots off. Also picking targets like trolls and stuff, kind of wasted bolts on trying to hit running wolves. It's never going to work. Nonetheless, really good game. Closer than I thought. I thought early on in the game I'd literally smashed him, but those Ironbreakers really did hold their own then for the Gyrocopters to do some good damage. Guys, that's faith. If you like the content, please give the video a like, hit subscribe. Uploading regular content for Total War Warhammer 2. We start some campaigns soon. I play on a laptop on Acer Predator, so I had to pick up a new SSD because the game is just slightly too big to get on my 120 gig SSD since the new Vampire Coast added kind of 7 gigs. So I'll be on that kind of in a week or so's time. Yeah, guys. Until the next one, I'll catch you again. Be safe.